right, guys? Can I get a small confirmation for this by any one of you? Whether my voice is audible, whether my screen is visible. So Naga is the first one confirming me this, sir. I have missed the first class, but I've listened to the YouTube recorded video. Could you please send me the session files? So session files is something which is the responsibility of the course coordinators. You get in touch with them, and I think they will be the one who would be giving it back to you, right? So perfect. Let us get started with the session over here for today. And guys, it's been a really long journey that we have completed till this moment, right? So if you observe over here, we have basically completed exploring generative AI applications, right? The pandas part, till the pandas part, the power of prompt engineering. And now today we are expected to cover up exploring generative AI applications. And not only today, even in the next session, we would be continuing with this particular topic. The main aim of this particular topic over here is that you should get an idea about the fact that with the help of generative AI, in the first session, if you remember, we got to know what is generative AI exactly. So, what is generative AI architecture, what is generator, what is discriminator, and how it works and everything. Now, the thing is that everybody knows that generative AI has been, uh, like, for example, very one of the very important portions or one of the very important things over here, right? But what are some of the real world applications of this particular portion? That is something which I want you to understand. So I have taken up some case studies of real world applications in the Word document for generative AI technologies. Second is exploring the ethical considerations and the potential biases in generative AI. So is there any bias involved in generative AI? And if yes, then uh, what is that bias and how can we overcome that particular portion? And the last thing is that discussing the future of generative AI and its impact on various industries. So finance industry, FMCG industry, banking industry, marketing industry, HR analytics industry, right? There are so many industries out there. And how generative AI is something which is affecting all of these industries all around the world, and how you can use generative AI in your own what you can say job and enhance the productivity. So with the advent of ChatGPT, a lot of people are feeling that jobs are going, right? But the reality is that it's not that jobs are going. The real thing that is happening is that with the help of generative AI, what is happening is that people are becoming more productive, right? So earlier, let's say that for one project, we needed one data scientist. Now, a single data scientist can handle two or three projects, which essentially reduces the demand. And obviously, if the demand is reducing, the jobs are also reducing. So jobs are reducing, but the reason is not that AI is doing the job. It's not like that. The thing is that AI is helping you to do your job more effectively, right? So that is like one of the most important portions or one of the most important things over here that you need to kind of understand. Okay, now one of the next portions or one of the next parts over here that you need to kind of understand, it is kind of revolving around the portion that let's move ahead with this document and let's see what are the case studies that are there associated with this particular document. So the thing over here is that the transformative power of this generative AI has really helped you, as I have told you. It has found a versatile a place, its place as a versatile tool in real world applications, right? And through different case studies that are present over here, we would be shedding some light on how this particular portion or how this particular thing can be kind of used over here, right? So take a minute, read this. This is just a small background about generative AI and how this generative AI is kind of being used for simple activities or simple problems over here, right? Now the most important thing over here is that you should see that what is the spectrum, right, of this generative AI application. So generative AI encompasses a spectrum of applications according to the unique demands. So it's not a generic thing. If you go on Google right now, okay, and if you search for anything, so it doesn't give you the results that are catered according to your own things or according to your own wishes. Okay, what basically is happening over here is that this basically gives you the output in generic format. Google, I'm saying Google search engine. But the difference between Google search engine and ChatGPT or generative AI applications is that they are kind of giving you the applications with a very informed format, right? So it is increasing the efficiency and creativity. I told you about efficiency on my own, but creativity is also one of the things that you need to understand. So there is a perfect blend of efficiency and innovation, right? Document link I will share by the end of the course, I mean end of the session today. Okay. So it has been observed that a lot of learners are not paying attention. This document is for you guys itself. Don't worry about it. But what I want is that all of the learners should be in sync with what is happening, right? So now first thing is that is coming up over here. It is basically revolving around a fact, or it is basically revolving around a portion that efficiency and creativity, both of these two things are simultaneously enhanced, right? Now, next thing is personalization, which means that whatever is the content or whatever is the data, it is fine-tuned according to your individual needs. And I personally feel that this is the most important advantage, or this is the most important part over here. So what is basically happening over here is that let's say that there is some message that you write on ChatGPT. This particular thing will fine-tune the given portion according to that, right? And then last is data augmentation, which means that generative AI can augment the data sets, enabling robust training of ML algorithms. So augment the data sets. What is the meaning of augment the data sets? It can increase the quality of the data that you're feeding to ML algorithms over here, right? It is basically increasing the quality of the data that you're giving to ML algorithms over here, and that is what we need you guys to kind of understand, right? Now, after this is done, the next thing over here that I want all of you to understand is the case studies, right? The most important part over here is the case studies. What is the use of these case studies? Let's try to see the important part over here. And just feel free to let me know if you are having any doubts or questions, guys. So first thing is efficiency is increased, which I gave you example for that one data scientist now can move ahead with multiple tools, okay, and for multiple projects. Second is creativity. So the ways with which you can create the ML algorithms, the kind of features that you can create, it has changed. Third, second is personalization. Whatever is your personal requirement, according to that, you can cater to the important things or important portions. And after that, there is something which is called as data augmentation over here, which basically means that generative AI can augment the datasets enabling robust training of ML models with diverse and enriched data over here. Okay. Now let's try to move ahead with the case studies, like how generative AI can be used. Like I will honestly tell you what I am doing with generative AI. So in my mentorship career, one of the most important things is that we have to create the content. Sometimes we receive the content from the edtech organization. And sometimes we have to create the content on our own. If the course is really new, like this chat GPT generative AI course is new, nobody has the content for it. Now I can judge that what should come in the content, but I cannot create it. I need some source. And ChatGPT has been one of the prominent source that helps me in getting the raw content. I then fine tune it, but getting the raw content, ChatGPT is one of the really important things over here. Okay, point number one. Point number two is that let's say that you want to create some PPTs, or let's say you want to create some reports. For that, ChatGPT again can come into picture. Point number three, let's say that you want to create a hard-coded algorithm. Okay, ChatGPT can come well in help for that particular portion. Are you getting my point, guys? What I'm trying to say? So in this way, ChatGPT has shown really promising results, and some of the examples are given over here. By the way, please make a copy of this Word document because it will definitely come in handy for all of you guys. Right? So let's try to move ahead. So let's say that you are moving in fashion industry, right? You can use generative AI in fashion industry to create unique designs of your own, right? So there are people who have the work of designing like really top end, what you can see, uh, ethnic wears or something like that. So you can take help of Chat GPT and you can try to move ahead with this particular function, right? So Chat GPT is definitely something that can really help you in getting an idea or getting an overview about the fund, right? Take 30 seconds for this, guys. Read the first one. Then we will move ahead with the next options. Now, after this particular portion is done, the next is art creation and appreciation, right? What is this art creation? Again, kind of similar to the fashion design creation, right? Now, after this is done, the next part or the next portion over here is text generation. So LLM models or language models powered by generative AI are capable of producing some text on their own, right? And they can even do creative writing. Let's say if you go on ChatGPT and if you tell that this is the name of the book, please try to give the summary of this particular book quickly, right? So this is basically something which can really turn in for us. So whatever you send on Saturday, it's showing like this. Just 1 minute, let me have a look. Whatever I'm showing on Saturday. So for this, you need to, I have already explained how to open up this file. I will suggest you to go through the recorded sessions to get an idea about how you need to open this file, right? Now, after this is done, what we need to do is that there is text generation, creative writing, medical imaging, where I can see the recorded sessions. I think the course coordinators can help you to get an idea about it, right? Now, after this is done, the next part over here that I want you to understand, it's about game medical imaging. So in medical imaging, how it is being used. So there is a pix to pix model that can scan the detailed images that are available over here. And depending on that, it can help you to get an idea about the fact that whether a particular image is like you can take the X-ray of the lungs, okay, and depending on that, you can get an idea that whether that person is having cancer or not, whether that person is having COVID-19 or not, just depending on the X-ray lungs, right? 30 seconds on this, guys. Everybody read it and then we can kind of try to move ahead with the next part. Now, after this is done, you can also use the MuseNet package. Pix to Pix is a package or a model, pre-trained deep learning model, Harika. Like that, MuseNet is also a pre-trained model available over here, right? And this can help you to verify whether the image that you are working around with, it is compatible or not. 30 seconds on this, guys, then we will move ahead with the next part. Now, after this is done, the next part over here is that in architectural designs also, yes, I have already shared the material. I will reshare it once again. Here is the document. And I always feel that it's a better idea if the learners go through this in their own laptop at their own speed. Right? You make a copy of this in your own laptop, by the way, and generative AI facilitates the architectural designs of the 3D models as well. So what you have to do is that you have to simply go out there, tell that okay, we need these things at this given what you can say size, and it will really help you to get an idea or get an overview about the points or about the topics. Right? Clear guys on this? Then there is content recommendation and personalization, which I have already told you that whatever is the PPT that I need to create or whatever are the presentations I need to observe, in that it is very important for all of you guys to get a really good idea about this particular fact that you can get that content prepared in a second, right? In a second, I'm saying. 30 seconds and last is virtual fashion fitting rooms. Even have you observed Lenskart recently, guys? Everybody, last point. Have you observed Lenskart? On Lenskart or even on apps like Flipkart or Amazon, you can virtually fit on the what you can say the clothes or the frames or spectacles and get an overview that how it will look on you, right? So that uses this particular part. Are you getting my point, guys? That is basically something which uses this particular part. Now, after this is done, so here are the ideas of generative AI that are being used over here, right? So what is basically happening over here, guys, everybody? So here what is happening is that you can build more efficient workflows for knowledge workers, automate the engineering processes that are available over here, correct? Then you can democratize data with the rest of your company, scales customer support, support translation and language services, and this is basically something that can be kind of completed over here. So these are one of the like some of the important points that are completed over here, right? 30 seconds on this, guys. Now, after this is done, let us try to move ahead with the next part. So basically here the hype around generative AI and the data with which you are kind of working, it's real, okay? And hence what has happened over time is that we need to kind of take this particular portion into consideration that all the industries are using them. OpenAI, Google, Amazon, they have flooded with large language models, right? That is why what has happened over here is, with time, what has happened over here is that where do most of the companies start when it comes to incorporating this part? So let's try to see this part. Like these are the 5 things, but let's try to dig deeper into that. Building more efficient workflows. So what is the ROI? What are they realistic or something like that? Let's try to go into depths of that. Now, what I want you to understand is that in my full-time role where I'm working as a data scientist, there what we basically kind of do is that we basically kind of create workflows or automated data pipelines which can take the data or acquire the data. Okay. And once the data has been taken or acquired, then we try to clean it, pre-process it, and give it to the researchers. Okay, so this is the total portion that we need to move ahead with. Right. Now the thing over here is that we have to take an idea about this particular fact that what is ROI, return on investment, right? Could you please share the document in Telegram? I think the course coordinators can share it there. Okay. So what I was saying is that it is very important for all of you guys to understand that these things need to be taken into consideration. Like let's say you have to prepare automated documentations over there, right? In that particular situations, you can use this particular part. So read this much part. Build more efficient workflows for knowledge workers over here. Right? 30 seconds for this. So across countries, companies are driving early generative AI use case and they are kind of preparing more efficient workflows. So let's see how it works in legal department. So in legal industry, this AI powered systems can regulate monitoring the issue to ensure that clients are up to date with the compliance. So let's say when you are when the clients are going, so there are a lot of things. There is verification, there is arrest warrant, there is summons, right? So it can be used to make sure that all the clients, let's say that we are establishing a legal firm out there. So this can be kind of completed over here with great detail, by the way. Okay. So drafting and reviewing the standard documents like will and everything. And last but not the least that comes up over here is assisting the due diligence by reviewing large volumes. This is the most important of documents to identify the potential risk in the document. So when there is a firm, it's never going to happen that there is just a single person, okay, who is there. There are multiple clients and you need to do the things or activities with same, what you can say, accuracy or precision for all the clients, right? So try to take this particular portion, legal research, identifying, summarizing. So there is a lot of reading that lawyers have to do. Do you remember this? Do you know this? Actually, sorry. Do you remember this or know this? If any of your friend or relative is lawyer, there is so much of literature survey or review that they have to do. You can't even imagine about it. And if you use ChatGPT, ChatGPT can read it for you, it can summarize it, and with regards to your own individual case, it can really help you to get an overview. Okay. So the tech solution is that legal teams are adopting specialized solutions which are either custom models or fine-tuned LLMs. right? Take a minute to read this. So you have been through the details of how this particular portion is used in legal industry, and like that, believe me, there are so many industries available out there. You can understand every industry is nowadays using this part. Now, after this is done, London law firm McFarlane's is using Harvey to support research, analysis, and summarize documents to create the first drafts. Let's move ahead with finance now. So way back in early 2023, Wall Street institutions like Goldman Sachs and Citigroup famously banned ChatGPT due to data privacy concerns, and they are using anti-AI headlines, right? So that the finance industry, because of the use of ML algorithms that have been done to make sure that fraud detection is being done effectively, this is easily expected to be right. So for now, though, Databricks has estimated that 80% of Gen AI use cases in financial are focused on streamlining the processes to save the time. It includes these many things. So conversational finance chatbots too that can use internal documents as knowledge base, automating basic accounting functions like invoice capture and processing, analyzing, summarizing, and extracting insights from documents like this. And then moving ahead with the next part over here, right? So take a minute, read this, and this is how you can observe that how finance industry is using ChatGPT. Correct, guys? Now, after this is done, after you guys have been through this particular part, so you have seen legal industry, you have seen finance industry. There are two famous industries in which you have read that how they can use ChatGPT. Actually, to be honest with you, every industry can use this particular part, and they can actually do wonders. Now, after this is done, the next part over here is that Bloomberg GPT is something which is coming over here, right? What is this Bloomberg GPT? Take your time and read about Bloomberg GPT. It's a 50 billion parameter LLM specified for financial services. Later on, if you get that bandwidth, please try to read about it. Okay. So in finance industry, AI is being used and endless applications are there. This is something that I see on internet, right? But even apart from that, there are a lot of applications which are kind of available out there. Now, after this is done, one of the really important things that you need to kind of take into consideration, it is revolving around a scenario, or it is revolving around a fact that how we will try to take advantage of these sections over here. So now after this particular portion is completed, sales team, next target or next point over here, how sales team is kind of using the given part or using the given portion. So as you guys know, that sales industry is basically something which is one of the most important portions that we need to move ahead with, right? Ultimately, at the end of the day, sales plays a very important role in smooth functioning of an organization. So writing the first draft, so sales team has to do a lot of calls. Nowadays, they have to do a lot of email following up, right? And there is a lot of things that these guys have to do, and they have to work really hard to make sure that the essential conversion is happening at the back end. Okay. Now the point over here is the ultimate point or the ultimate portion over here is that how we can kind of try to implement these sections over here. So writing the first draft, personalizing the content for every what you can say customer, analyzing the sales transaction, previous historical sales transaction of every customer. And then depending on all of these things, you are expected to move ahead with the next part or next activity. All right. Now, after this particular portion is done, right after you guys are clear with this, after this subject or after this topic has been discussed, let us try to move ahead with the text solutions. There is something like you may not know it, even I don't have a very good overview about this, but it is a proprietary model to produce call summaries. Let's say a particular person is having a call. So let's say you are having 200 calls a day, or a sales guy is having 200 calls a day, then it is very important to summarize those calls as well. And summarization of those calls is something which is effectively completed through this GOM models like GOM. So like we have Pix to Pix, MuseNet. Similarly, there is GOM, right? So account engagement platforms like Sixth Sense. Sixth Sense is a company, by the way, I applied for senior data scientist position over here. I remember this. It uses AI-enabled conversation email so that they're enhancing the quality of interaction that they are having. Now, after this is done, no, I'm not speaking anything, Harika. Is it audible now? Harika, have you read it till this point? Is it audible, Harika? Okay. So I was not speaking anything. I was just waiting for you guys to read till this moment. Now, after that, there is automate engineering and data processes. And this is basically something that I am doing in my full-time role. So in my full-time role, this is what I am mainly concerned about. So whatever are the data pre-processing steps and the pipelines that are available over here, it is your responsibility to automate the workflow of all of them, right? And you are kind of responsible in moving ahead with this part. Are you getting my point, guys? What I'm trying to say? So now, after this is done, let us try to see what are the things that we can kind of implement. So you can automatically create chunks of code. Go on ChatGPT, write, I need a code for removing null values, removing duplicates. It will give you a block of code. You don't have to write it on your own nowadays, right? If you want to create synthetic data, it can help you to create synthetic data. Automate the detailed documentation around the code and the projects, right? So just try to see how ChatGPT is something which can be used in all of them. right? Take your time, go through this, and do let me know if I can help you with anything. Everybody, guys, take 2 minutes of your time in going through this. And by the way, there is live coding session also today. So it's not that it's just theory today. There is a combination of live coding session as well. 30 more seconds, everybody, guys, and then we will move ahead with the next part or next activity. Now, after this is done, I hope you guys have read about it. Let us try to move ahead with the next section over here, which is that LLMs can write the codes for you. They can fix the bugs in the code that are available for you. They can suggest you better optimization techniques, right? They can fix the bugs. So there are so many things over here that they can help you with. Even at OpenAI itself, OpenAI is basically the company that has created ChatGPT. LLMs are used to support DevOps and internal functions, right? So this scientist, Yaniv Markosi, head of AI specialist in the OpenAI team, he is using GPT models to aggregate and translate operational signals over here. So just see that if DevOps activities like DevOps can be automated, then how powerful is ChatGPT? Just try to get an idea or an overview about this. That how powerful that particular portion or that particular part is there, right? So you can have GitHub Copilot and Amazon's Code Whisper. Even in here, I have Copilot mode. See, Copilot mode in my, that's a recent update in Windows. So nowadays there are Copilot operations over here. Now there is GitHub Copilot and Amazon's Code Whisper to support and develop the workflows. So developers can now use the natural language, get the snippets of the code from ChatGPT, and just copy paste it and then work, and their work is done. Right? Take your time, everybody, guys. read the real world use cases, and then we can read the democratized data one. Read this, read till this point. Okay, read before this. Everybody. Now, after this is done, everybody guys, are you there with me? Can I start the next part, democratize data with respect to rest of the company? Everybody guys, hello? Yes, Siddhartha is saying yes. What about others? Okay, let's get started with the next part. Democratize data with rest of the company. What is this part all about? So in this part, what is happening is that in the world of data, what is one of the fundamental things or what is one of the fundamental portions over here? Data, right? So data is basically something which can really help you in getting an idea or getting an overview about this particular portion, right? So what is basically happening over here is that, sir, will you please send a PDF link? I have already shared it. Let me share it one more time. So what is happening is that Gen AI can increase or leverage the increased access to the data for non-technical person. So nowadays, with the advent of big data, a huge amount of data is getting created. But that's not all about it. The most important part is that can you actually use that data or access that data for your own good, right? So you can natural language prompts. This is under prompt engineering, and in the next module, we will try to learn about prompts. So what is happening is that natural language provides a path of team members to create natural prompts over here. And prompt in simple words is a message that you give to the chat GPT or LLMs. So that natural language prompts can generate SQL queries. So let's say that there is a person who is from non-technical background. That person is expected to write some queries. Let's say that this is the scenario. Okay. Now the point over here is that do you think that writing the queries is possible immediately for that person? No. But with the advent of ChatGPT, that person can definitely get an idea about this particular part or this particular portion immediately. And that is what is this natural language prompts portion over here, right? Now, after this is done, the tech solution is available over here. That while these like what are they doing? They have recently announced Databricks platforms like Databricks have recently announced Lakehouse IQ. And from that IQ, you can immediately get the data easily. So even data extraction process has become a lot easier with time. Right, everybody guys, are you getting my point? Even the data extraction process have become easier. Live stream shopping platforms like whatnot highly encourages every employee to know SQL so that they can create, save, retrieve the data on their own. Right? So, engineering director Emmanuel Kuntz really recently said that it's helping people bootstrap. If they come from no background in SQL, it's helping them to wrap up fairly quick because what you need to do is you need to go in ChatGPT and tell that I need to write a SQL query that can do this thing. So it can help them to catch up really quickly with the SQL queries and work around with the data that's available. Okay, take your time for this, everybody, guys. And then we will move ahead with the next part. Now, after this is done, the next part over here is scale support, customer support. So now with increasing population and obviously the people like as population increases, they would be using different platforms. And as they're using different platforms, they will definitely need more support, more and more and more support. Now, the point over here is that for a company, it is not always possible that they hire people at that level or at that scale. So, artificial chatbots are needed, right? So, by incorporating semantic search, so whenever there is any NLP processing that is done, there are three aspects to it that you can search. There is semantic processing, there is lexical processing, and there is syntactic processing, right? So lexical processing is just presence or absence of a word, right? Syntactic processing is the syntax, whether it is grammatically correct or not. And what is semantic processing? The relationship among words. So same words arranged in a particular order and in another particular order can have different meanings. So semantic processing in NLP deals with the order of the words, syntactic deals with the grammatical errors, and lexical deals with presence or absence of a word. So you can use LLMs, right, to generate or enable CS teams, or CS means not computer science, customer support in this case, to access the information quickly. Like, let's say I have brought a product from Amazon, I have not received some information from them. So when I call them, they should be able to quickly get that which product I am referring to. So it helps them to get the access information, create dummy responses for them so that they can use all of this situation for good in the later part. Okay, take your time for this, everybody, guys. Try to see how it is used in this particular place. Now, after this is done, assuming that you have read about this, here is the real world use case. Vimeo is an app which is used for some financial management. I think it's a US based app. It is using generative AI to create desk chat prototype. Right, so this is one of the real world use case where generative AI and LLMs is being used for customer support. So when a customer has an unsuccessful conversation with the existing front-end chatbot, a transcript is sent to LLM for help, and then LLM further researches on the fact that what better can be done to increase the quality of the work. Read this, the transcript is then sent to LLM for the better analysis. That what exactly happened, what we can improve, right? And then the generated answer from LLM is being sent over there. 30 seconds, guys, on this. And now after this is done, let us try to move ahead with the next option over here for support translation and language services. So let's say that there is an international call center. The customer care executive is not that well versed of the language or the words, then it can give promptings to that customer support executive. It can make near instantaneous translations and can help the support. It provides multilingual customer service interactions for the global sentiment that can help you to scale your business. Right, so there are 400. Google has a universal speech model which is trained on 400 languages, and it is having the goal to become the universal translator. Right, so health tech company Vital has recently launched an AI powered doctor to patient translator which runs on medical terminologies and brain translation. Right, take your time for this, everybody, guys. Support translation services, language translation services. And now after this is done, guys, everybody let us take a small break of 10 minutes. We will resume at 2019 with the next part. Okay, 10 minutes break, everybody, guys. Thank you. So let us get started, guys, with our session over here for today. And I was late by a few minutes. We will try to extend the session if required. And let's try to do some live coding. So I have focused like a lot of efforts on explaining you the theoretical background. Now let us try to do live coding. So documents, Blackbucks, generative AI, coding files. And let's have session 5. So let's try to have some generative AI live coding. Right, and the remaining theory is something that we will cover up in the next session. It's not that I'm skipping that part, but yeah, let's try to move ahead with it. So, one of the most important things is try to get your data over there. So, let's try to do the live coding. So, installing TensorFlow library if you don't have it. Exclamatory mark pip install TensorFlow. You will have to execute this first, otherwise your codes will not run. Okay, so it is showing requirement already satisfied in my laptop because over here I already have TensorFlow library. But if you guys don't have the TensorFlow library, then what you will have to do is that you will have to install it. It is a big library. It will take yeah, 3 to 4 minutes definitely at least. And then you guys would be expected to move ahead with the next task or next activity, right? Now, after this is done, let us try to move ahead with the next part. Sure, Ajay, I will share it to you at the end of the session. Now, the thing over here is creating the data, right? Now, the point is that data is equal to this is the first sentence, comma, here is the second sentence, and then you have the third sentence as finally the third one, right? Now, after this is done, let us try to pre-process the data. So first of all, you have importing important libraries. So you have import numpy as np, import pandas as pd, import tensorflow as tf, and from tensorflow dot keras dot pre-processing import pre-processing dot text, because we are working with textual data, import tokenizer. Okay. From sequence, you are importing pad underscore sequences. Now, after this is done, let's have tokenizing the data. Tokenizing is the process of converting the data into individual words. Tokenizer is equal to this part, then tokenizer dot fit on text data. And the last part that is available over here is total underscore words is equal to length of tokenizer dot word underscore index plus one. So we have the sentences right here. We have the sentences. Here we are importing the data. And here is the part. 30 seconds on this, guys. Let me know. From tensorflow.keras.preprocessing.text means that in TensorFlow library, there is a Keras submodule in which there is a preprocessing submodule in which there is text submodule which has a tokenizer function which will help you to tokenize the data. Now, what is the meaning of tokenizing the data? Tokenization of data is the process of dividing the data into individual words, right? So now after this is done, the next is user warning. Pandas requires, yes, you should upgrade pandas, right? One more thing that you can write over here is import warnings. Warnings dot filter warnings. Ignore, because there are a lot of warnings that come in deep learning codes. So my recommendation is just try to have that ignore statement on for warnings. Right. TensorFlow is the most important deep learning library. Why is it used? There is one of the learner having this question. Why TensorFlow is used? TensorFlow, Harika, is one of the most important deep learning libraries. In TensorFlow library, you can create individual tensors over here. And those individual tensors are basically the computational unit of the neural network. Now, guys, after you are done with this, let's try to create sequences in the data, right? That's the next point. So the next point over here is creating input sequences. So sequences is equal to tokenizer dot text dot to underscore sequences data. Input underscore sequences is equal to this. For sequence in sequences, for I in range 1 to length of sequences. So here we are taking sequential data into consideration. You will understand shortly why. N-gram is another thing. N-gram is taking n consecutive words into consideration. It is one of the things in text pre-processing. If you don't know about n-grams, I will suggest you to read about it today and let me know if you are having any questions or doubts in that. And input underscore sequences dot append n-gram sequence. Okay. And finally, after that, you have max sequence is equal to length. It is equal to max of length of SEQ for SEQ in input underscore sequences. Okay. Next is input underscore sequences is equal to pad. You will pad those sequences. Pad underscore sequences. Input underscore sequences, comma, max length is equal to max sequence length and padding is equal to pre. So you have the homework to search about all of these parameters. What is max length? What is padding? So what is the n-gram sequence? Let me see what is wrong over here. N-gram sequence is equal to sequence colon and after that you have separating input data and output data. Now you may have a lot of questions. First of all, if you are not familiar with NLP concepts, you will not get what is n-gram. N-gram means n consecutive words taken into consideration and finding out or figuring out whether they make any sense. Right? So input underscore sequences colon comma colon minus one. And the second thing over here is y is also the same thing. It's just that just the last one, right? So take your time, write this code, and it is your homework to see what is this max length and padding equal to pre, right? Max length is the word which has maximum length, okay, maximum sequence actually. I will share the coding files, Chaitanya, don't worry. Padding equal to pre means it's at zero in front, correct, absolutely correct. Yes. Now, after this is done, we will use RNN algorithm over here. So after this is done, the next part is choosing a generative model architecture. So model is equal to tf dot keras dot sequential tf dot keras dot layers dot embedding total underscore words, comma 64, comma input underscore length, comma is equal to max underscore sequence. So we are creating a vector of maximum sequence minus 1, right? Comma. In the next part, it is df dot keras dot layers dot lstm 100, and then it is df dot keras dot layers dot dense total underscore words, comma. Let's have activation as softmax. And then we have compiling the model. So model dot compile And loss is equal to sparse. As I told you, you need to have some deep learning background, otherwise this is going to be really difficult for you. Critical cross entropy, comma optimizer is equal to Adam, comma metrics is equal to accuracy. Max sequence minus 1, mass sequence length minus 1. Okay, so this is something that you need to pay attention to, everybody, guys. This is the architecture of the neural network model that we are moving ahead with. And then we are fitting the model.fit x comma y comma epoch is equal to, we can have more epochs, but I'm having 100 epochs as of now, and work is equal to 100. It will start the model fitting process. Value error, unknowns, categorical cross entropy. What's the issue now? Sparse categorical entropy. So now our model has started fitting. And lastly, we would be generating the text. Write this quickly in your laptop, guys. And now we would be generating some new text after this. One more minute, guys, you quickly type it. And as I told you that you need to have some background of deep learning over here. If you don't have that background of deep learning, this is not going to be a simple task for you then, right? Now let us try to take the predictions from this model, assuming that you have written this much part. There are 100 epochs. Okay, everything is done. Now we have generating text, right? So seed underscore text, it is equal to this is, right? Next underscore words is, let's say, 100. So for underscore in range next underscore words, token underscore list is equal to tokenizer dot text to sequences seed underscore text square bracket 0. Then you will pad it, right? So pad underscore sequences token underscore list, comma, max length is equal to max sequence length minus 1, comma, again padding is equal to 3. Predicted is equal to model dot predict underscore classes token underscore list, comma, verbose is 0. So we want to take the predictions from the model. Now output underscore word is nothing. And then for word, comma, index in tokenizer dot word underscore index dot items if index double equal to predicted output underscore word is equal to word and then break. We don't have to predict the model again. And seed underscore text is plus equal to a space and the output word. So word by word, we would be doing the predictions over here. And then print output, which is seed underscore text. So Here, what will happen is just 1 minute. Where is the error? Text to sequences. Pad, where is this word? Pad underscore sequences. Hmm, predict underscore model dot predict underscore classes. Model dot predict underscore classes. Let's try to see how to sort this issue. If you are using it where you will receive the following warning and replaced prediction, see prediction. Let's have this line. And yeah, I think this should work. So the model is trying its level best to find out the words. When the word is found, right? This is the second thirst, why it's THIRS. Have we made this second? Finally, this is the third one. Okay. Then this, then this, then this, then this, then LSP model, then fitting, and then finally getting it. So you guys can yourself see and judge that how we are able to get an idea about the predictive performance of the model. This is third, the second. These are the words. Okay. So I know that it's not up to the mark, but this is how text can be generated. So obviously we are not getting a model which is up to the mark. But what we are able to get over here is that it is generating text. Now, after this is done, let me share the document of this code with all of you guys. Right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and today's session is 5. I've shared all the 5 files with all of you guys. Just down download it and keep a copy of all of these files with you, and we will resume with the next session then. Okay. In today's session in the live coding, you may have observed that there are some concepts of NLP that we are using. And obviously, if you are not comfortable with those NLP concepts, you will face issues, right? So that is why the best way that you can kind of take this into consideration over here is that try to have a perspective of the previous things like basics of deep learning, hey, NLP basic concepts, right? So perfect, everybody, guys. Thank you for attending. It's almost 9 p.m., right? Let us try to wrap our session in here for today. Thank you, everybody, for attending the session, and good night. Bye.